they've been a huge support system for me, huge. And yeah, if
We can't help it. You have one session with her and you're soft. Oh my God, yeah.
And
You'll
so, yes, and I came here for the water, and then I originally did not have a machine. I came here, learned more about it, but had known of it, and then I purchased one, and I use that in my facials as well. So the water that you're receiving on your face and in your beauty water is all Kangen water. Sometimes I'll use spring water too that I get from Washington, actually delivered down here. Because, you know, everybody's body's different. That's kind of like one of the first things that I want to say too, is that what works for one person may not necessarily work for another person. So I think it's really important just to kind of be still and listen to yourself and listen to what your body's telling you, because your body tells you a lot. It really does, especially with the skin too. So it's really important just to kind of, doesn't even necessarily need to be a meditation. It's just sitting still with yourself and just allowing and not judging, making that coming in and listening to your body. So with that said, thank you, Robin and Taylor, for hosting this. I really appreciate it. And a couple of things that I just want to start off with. I think I'll move fairly quickly. If you guys have questions and they're really important, go ahead and feel free to raise your hand. But like I said, I'll answer some questions at the end. And then we have some like goodies and giveaways and like some of my own personal like beauty hacks and favorites. I have my crystalline energy tools there, all my facial reflexology tools, the skincare line that I sell. And here we have some angel cards, and this you get in one of your treatments too. And I just think it's a lot of fun because sometimes they just feel really appropriate. And I always suggest people, like, if they need any clarity to something during the week, maybe pick a card. And feel free today too, if you want to pick one, and you can keep it. Or you can put it back in, just remember what it is. And if you want, I have my little book here and we'll kind of like go over it as well.
And Jennifer reminded they're gonna make their own teas.
Yeah,
They're gonna make their own
we
tea
have
today.
an interactive thing too. So that's the, yes, that's the beauty water tea that has the calendula, it has nettles, it has hibiscus, rosehip, and rosebud. And rosehip's really good for retaining moisture in the skin. Tons of vitamin C. Also, the hibiscus is really good for, almost works like an occlusive. It draws water in as well, but it's also a really clarifying herb. And then also the calendula is really good for inflammation. The nettles, huge antioxidant minerals. I mean, you could basically drink nettle tea all day and probably feel okay. Because it just has such like a large antioxidant and mineral component to it. Hi, come on in. So some of this, my favorite skin nutrients, supplements for the skin. I'm going to start off with kind of like all skin types. Astaxanthin, and I will go ahead and eat. Oh, that's actually something I want everybody to do is sign this, if you don't mind, with your email. And then I can email this to you with links and things like that too, if you'd like. And I'll just kind of like pass that around for everybody to fill out with their information. So one of my first and favorite supplements for the skin is astaxanthin. Nutrix Hawaii makes one. It's a type of a microalgae, and it can really help oxidative stress in the skin. So really good at cellular function, rebuilding cells, and just kind of like bringing more water and salt into the cell. Really good for the appearance of wrinkles and dehydration. Vitamin C, as we all know, I'm sure a lot of us take that, kind of essential to the health of our skin. It's really the building block to promote wound healing, protects the skin from any environmental stressors. Key nutrients that it really helps too is that it's going to help build collagen. So it's definitely a fundamental building block, and that's something that, you know, we lose as we age. So it's really important to have that stimulation for collagen and all the fibroblasts. And those nutrients tend to lay dormant. So with the addition of the facial reflexology and the actual massage, we're actually bringing microcirculation into the actual blood. So we're bringing more oxygen into the blood. We're getting those nutrients that lay dormant and bringing them to the top layer of the skin. So that kind of gives you a little bit of like that glowy look afterwards too. Magnesium glistening. that is one of my other favorites. Super, super important for hormonal health for a number of reasons. It soothes the nervous system by regulating cortisol. So cortisol is something that, you know, we're all familiar with, that I think is something we don't really kind of like think about as far as being one of the main components of aging skin. And it just can kind of wreak havoc on our hormones as well. So really watching caffeine take and things like that. I mean, everything in moderation with life. You know, you need to have fun, you need to live your life. And I think intention is everything. But those are some of my favorites. And then vitamin D. And we kind of like all know what that is. But even here in the sunny state of San Diego, we have a lot of overcast days, and vitamin D plays an integral part of your immunity as well. And it just helps with the production of new cells, replacing older ones, and then it's just going to help the skin look youthful. And a couple of things that like I like to do in the morning, kind of like one of the ways that I start my days is sun gazing. I'm a huge proponent of sun. I believe that the sun is good for us. Once again, everything in moderation. Like the times that you really can go out into the sun, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. Like I said, I'm a holistic esthetician, but I am a lifelong, you know, investigative journalist, and sun really, really helps me. But I'm not going out, you know, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with absolutely no protection on. You know, the best way for us to get, in my opinion, vitamin D is literally from the sun, because that's the way that our body synthesizes it. Supplementation is key. It definitely helps. So like spending 20 minutes, you know, in the morning, say at 7 o'clock in the morning. And what's really amazing about that too is that it really like starts to help our circadian rhythm. And so that's really going to help with like sleeping at the end of the day, because once we start to get that, you know, into our system and the melatonin going, that's what's going to help give us a really like restful type of sleep. And you're going to wake up in the morning feeling rested. So that's kind of like one company that talks a lot about this is called Primal Herb, and another company is called Raw Optics. And Raw Optics is a company that has blue blocker sunglasses. And so essentially those are glasses that you wear for the daytime and the nighttime, and they help eliminate blue light at night from all of our computers, our phones. That light is known to be very disruptive for our sleep early in the morning. And another reason why morning sun is so great is because in the morning you don't have the UVB rays. So it's basically UVA rays and the infrared rays. And those are the rays that are like the building blocks for our mitochondria and just like spark everything and get us going. So I'm a huge believer in it. Same thing kind of with sunset. Taking a look at the sunset for obvious reasons is very calming and soothing, but also just physiologically, it really helps the body as well, because it signals to our body that it's time to wind down. So I think those one of the important things that I like to do in the morning, and even if it's like on my back patio for like a quick 5 minutes. Also really beneficial too if you are a proponent of, say, cold drinks or anything like smoothies or like that. Really great to drink those in the sun. It really helps to calm inflammation in the skin, because direct cold water to the belly can be a little bit disruptive for the digestive system. So the sun really helps to synthesize that, and it's kind of like a little, you know, one of the many life hacks. For lack of a better word, I don't really like that word, but I haven't come up with one yet. So if anyone comes up with one that I can use, I've got like a goodie for you today.
Incentive.
Yeah. And then, so another way that I like to start the morning too is, I mean, I know it's super simple and everybody says this, but are 2 glasses of water. And the reason, and it doesn't need to be like lemon water and hot water. It's just water, because that's going to get your body going, because the night that we just spent sleeping is where we are regenerating our bodies literally. So the kidneys, the liver are doing tons of work. So you really want to help them out. And the first thing that you do not want to put into your body in the morning, just because we've essentially gone through so much fasting, is sugar. So, and there's sugar in so many things. I know that seems like a really simple thing, but there is sugar in, you know, obviously we put sugar in our coffee, but sugar in fruit, sugar in pastries. So super important to get into your system, just like a little bit of protein or something that's going to really help your body to kind of like start the day. And with the 2 glasses of water, I love to put in, you know, this water too, these ladies can talk to you about it all day. It's hydrogen rich, but I also like to start off with 2 pinches of a really quality sea salt. And the reason for that is because the more water we drink, the more salt we need. Those 2 go hand in hand. It's super important. If you've noticed, sometimes you may drink tons and tons and tons of water and sometimes you don't feel hydrated. It's because you need that salt in order to like build the cell structure. So it's super important. You can even, you know, at some points get water intoxication, and that will happen because your electrolyte balance is thrown off, which is essentially sodium. So that's something that I do. And a lot of people are now restructuring water, which you can.
That would be another topic for another
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah, and if you want to do that, some really simple things, I take a spoon and I swirl it 4 times one way, and then I swirl it 4 times another way. And what we're doing is we're really just getting more oxygen into the water. And then I'll add a little bit of salt in there, and I'll make sure to drink those 2 glasses like before I'm really doing anything. And you don't want to slam glasses of water. You want to kind of swirl it around in the mouth, and then kind of like swallow it gently, because if you're just like slamming water, that's going straight to your kidneys and can be a little hard on your kidneys as well. Plus, when you kind of swirl it around in your mouth too, you're grabbing all of your natural bacteria, which is kind of acting like your own natural antibiotic, if you will. All right, and then, so for acne, if anyone has any kids or anyone that's dealing kind of with like adult hormonal acne, a couple really great supplements for the skin are zinc sulfate, magnesium glycinate as well, turmeric, and probiotics. And I think kind of for all the obvious reasons, zinc helps cell production and immune response. So that's something that is natural, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, so great for acne. Magnesium glycinate really helps to stabilize our blood sugar level, and also regulate our nervous system, which also has a lot to do with cortisol, which a high level of cortisol can be a precursor to acne as well. Turmeric obviously really helps with inflammation. It's considered antibacterial and antioxidant, as with everything. You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but do your own research. Too much of anything can be a bad thing. And with vitamins and supplements and things like that, I mean, we also need to take into consideration that just because it's a plant does not necessarily mean it's great. And just because it's chemical and synthetic does not necessarily mean it's bad. So moderation is key. Turmeric, all of these things you can technically, you know, overdose or overdo. So you just want to make sure that you're consulting your doctor or your naturopath about any type of dosages. And I mean, generally turmeric is around 400 milligrams for a dosage for really helping with inflammation. And even it's good for inflammation in general. So if there's something that you're experiencing, even say like rosacea or something like that, that can be really beneficial as well.
How about the zinc sulfate? How much?
Zinc sulfate, I would around 8 to 11 milligrams.
Yeah, my daughter's 25 and she just keeps getting acne.
Okay, yeah, definitely look into that. Because it can be really, really helpful. I've had some people who have had a lot of luck with it.
Nice.
And I also have another herb that could be very helpful. It's from a company called Evergreen, and it's called Dermatrol, but I can't sell it. So you would need to get it through your naturopath or a functional medicine doctor. And it's just a whole bunch of
DERNA.
Yeah, DERMATROL. And the company is Evergreen. And then probiotics, for the obvious reason, I think we all kind of know what probiotics are for, but the gut, connection is huge, and gut and skin have, in my opinion, a direct correlation. So really taking care of our gut is fundamental in having the healthiest skin that we can. We're so bombarded in our current day and age with chemicals from everywhere. We can drive ourselves crazy and mad trying to be perfect in everything and get organic this and organic that. But at the end of the day, what's most important is your peace of mind. And I firmly believe that one small little toxic load that you take off of your body truly, truly helps the body. So yeah.
Any insight into the different types of probiotics? There's a lot of different forms. Do you have a recommendation on what types best?
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of something that do your research, you have to seek out, but some of the top ones, the lactobacillia is one of, I think, the most important, but everybody's body's different. So sometimes I will change up the type of ingredients that I see in it just to give my body a new strain of bacteria. So I suggest kind of doing that too, because if your body gets too used to one thing, it may not perform at the same level. So there's about 5 of the top ones, I would say, that are in probably most of them. And you'll see that across the board on all of them. Optivac is a really good probiotic. I believe they're made in the UK, and they specifically only make probiotics. Really trying to get the most high quality, and the way of looking at that is, 1, obviously research. 2, I'm a huge fan of all supplements coming in glass bottles because it just protects the integrity of the supplement. And then also, as far as probiotics, if they're vacuum sealed, that's a good thing, but then also really helpful for them to be refrigerated as well. The theory behind that is that they're a living, breathing organism, they're bacteria. Once we take them, you don't get a huge portion of them in your system because of the fact that they actually can be eaten by the stomach acid, as with all things that we take as far as supplements. So that's just something to consider too. I feel with a lot of supplements, it's definitely, you just have to be discerning, but as far as quality, I feel you get what you pay for.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on kombucha?
That's a great question. I think kombucha is not for everybody, especially people who have any type of gut digestive issues, which they say that it can actually be very helpful. But in my opinion, and what I've found with gut issues, it's a dysbiosis. There's something wrong. There's something that is taking place, and generally it's because of sugar and yeast. And when you add more sugar and yeast to that, which is what kombucha is, can be a recipe for disaster. And when you drink kombucha, people are, we're so heavily marketed to just with names, and you really kind of have to pay attention. But you're only supposed to be drinking one of those whole bottles should last you about 4 to 5 servings. Yeah, you should not. But some people, and this is one of the things that I love to say too, is our bodies are so different. Everybody's terrain is different. So it's really, you have to spend time looking into things and gathering in all this information, everything else in our world today. Being discerning with what you read, ingest it, process it, and make it your own. Because like I said earlier, what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for the next person. But I love that question because it's heavily marketed as such a you know, really healthy, natural thing to drink, and it's sugar.
It's too much sugar, I think.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's, yeah, and, you know, depending on how they made their starter, what type of kombucha starter it is, whether it's tea or what, you know, plants can be toxic. We all know that. There are mushrooms that grow on the ground that you can eat that may give you a little bit of like a hallucinogenic effect. Or there's mushrooms that can kill you. You know, there's all different types of plants out there that can, you know, essentially kill you, because if you have too much of it, they can become very toxic. So that leads me to my next thing. Yeah, please.
How often would you change your supplements for probiotics? Do you like, should you change it like 4 times a year and do it like 3 months, or do you change?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Once again, I'm gonna start off that with being still and intuition and listening to yourself, because our body really, really does talk to us if we are listening to it. You know, I feel like, myself included, it's a daily challenge, is really listening to myself and not letting my mind take over it and just going on autopilot with all of the information that I've learned, you know, throughout the years. So that would be the first thing I would say. For me personally, I like to spend like maybe like 2 months on the same one, just to get a feel for it and see. And then, so switching it up maybe 3 times, 4 times a year. I think it's important to have a little bit of that, you know, diversification, if you will. So, okay, so then my next thing is essential oils. So I know this may not be a popular belief amongst people, but I cannot stress enough that essential oils are very, very toxic. They're very, very potent. Okay, so just be careful with them. Use them in moderation. In my opinion, I do not like using them in skincare. The line that I sell, he uses a very low percentage. He uses 1%, and then some of them don't even have them. The ones that I use in my treatment room do not have any essential oils. That's one other thing that we've been so heavily marketed to, that it's natural, it's good for us, and really, like anything, you know, in excess can be very harmful.
Are they as bad as candles?
I mean, candles are more synthetic fragrances, so it just is, it's like one or the other. I think, you know, we have such a belief that since it comes from a plant, it's better, but they are very toxic. So when you do use them, you always want to make sure that you're using a carrier oil. And I mean, you're filling up like, you know, a 4-ounce bottle of oil, and you're literally dropping 1 to 2 drops of essential oil in that bottle. Really the only thing that I use essential oils for, to be perfectly honest, is cleaning, because they are literally, they're literally what they call, it's like I can't remember, not oxytocin, but they're literally a cell killer. They kill cells. So I use them to clean. So, and you know, they're not, like everything in our personal care products, that industry is not regulated. It hasn't had any laws passed since like 1930s. I think there was one law passed in the 70s, and that was to eliminate like one chemical. European Union bans, I think now probably close to 2,000 chemicals. We currently in the United States ban, I think it might be up to like 15. So it's just, you know, and they can sneak them in there in any way, and most of the time they sneak it in if you see fragrance, you know. So always look for fragrance, because that means that technically it's a proprietary blend, so they could put any type of chemical in there that they want. And you know, a buildup of chemicals obviously can bioaccumulate in our body and our organs, and so it can have, this is what I feel like is causing a lot of like our autoimmune issues. And like I said, once again, I'm not a huge proponent one way or the other. I'm not saying like all plants are bad and all chemicals are good. And I'm not saying all chemicals are bad and all plants are good. You have to be discerning with the information, and you have to like watch what you're doing as far as like the toxicity of using essential oils, you know, just like this. I mean, I had a client one time, she had perfect skin. She came in and she all of a sudden had like seborrheic dermatitis on the back of her neck, or what looked like psoriasis. And I was just like, gosh, you know, what's going on? What is it? Is there anything new that you're using? She's like, no. And I'm like, well, I'm noticing a little, you know, a little by your ears. And then she had a big square, perfect square patch on her neck. I was just like, to me, this tells me that there's two things. You either came into contact with something that was topical that you put on yourself, or you ingested something that your body didn't agree with. I'm like, have you eaten anything new in your diet? She's like, no. I'm like, you know, and so like, it's this process of asking ourselves questions. And I finally got to the point where she was using essential oils. She'd been using them for 6 years, and she'd been using them without a carrier oil, like 10 to 20 drops on the back of her neck every single night, and right here on her ears. And I mean, just, you know, if you think about it, like over time, this is now, it took 6 years. Her body was trying to fight it, but it took 6 years for her body to say, okay, here, this, I'm talking to you. Please listen to me, because there's something going on, you know? So I actually started using the water, the protocol with the 11.5 and 2.5, and then balancing the pH of the skin with the 5. And it finally like went away, but it took her probably, I would say, about a month. So, and she's still kind of, you can tell there's still a little residual there. Like if she were to probably put something on it, it would just blow up. So it's just, you just have to be careful, you know, and quality ingredients are important too. Looking at, you know, organic, you know, I mean, organic is kind of fairly loose these days, but it's something. And when you're looking at essential oils too, I think it's really important to look to make sure that, you know, they are organic, because they can be completely sprayed with pesticides. And here you are, some people are using them for therapeutics and ingesting them like literally into their body, and then also putting them on straight. I mean, very, very potent. So just please be careful with that. And that can cause a whole host of inflammation as well. So, and I mean, I use them, like I said, I use them for cleaning. I use doTERRA's On Guard blend, which is not organic, but I'm using it for cleaning, and I'm using it for tools for killing bacteria and viruses. So, but then sometimes I'll put it in a diffuser. I have a brand that's called Pranarom. It's a great brand. It's certified from the EU, and I'll put that in a diffuser sometimes. But I'll only add like 1 to 2 drops of that essential oil. Okay, so top ingredients that you do not want into your daily care products. I'm sure we're all kind of familiar with that. Parabens. They have really shown to be endocrine disruptors and kind of affect us on all levels, and they're specifically in the cosmetics industry and all of our daily care products. So just be careful. You know, we have to turn around that box and look at it, because we'll still get marketed to, you know, as far as, oh, this is all natural, it's organic, and then you turn around the box and you look at the ingredients, and the ingredients have a whole bunch of things in them. And generally, you know, ingredients they go from most to least. So whatever the first ingredient is going to be whatever, right, the highest concentration. Generally, you'll find like water or, you know, aloe vera and a lot of products as one of those first things, and then it'll go through to oils. Phthalates. So this, there was a study done by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, and they found a trace of it in every single person that was being analyzed. And it's just, they're used in everything. So you just want to make sure they're kind of essentially like a plastic. They're a hormone disruptor. They've been found to have growth defects. and they generally sneak them in when you see the ingredient fragrance. So fragrance is probably one of my biggest things. If you see that, put that box down because you just don't know what the fragrance is. Triclosan, that's something that we'll find, in a lot of our hand sanitizers. Resorcinol, which is something that we'll find in a lot of hand sanitizers too, directly affects the thyroid function. Hydroquinone, you'll see that in a lot of cosmetics for lightening the skin. It bioaccumulates in the body, in the liver specifically. There's a lot of more natural alternatives that can actually help and do, I think, just as much. May take a little bit longer, but vitamin C and also the crucial is another kind of like natural alternative. Obviously, petroleum, I mean, there's, some people think it's great, some people think it's not in cosmetics. I tend to go towards that it's not. And then sunscreens. I mean, this is kind of like a big one too. There's a lot of products in sunscreens. They'll say that they're reef safe or all natural, and they're not. Biggest ones to look for: avobenzone, oxybenzone, and these are all kind of more chemical sunscreens. I use sunscreen if I'm going to be out in the sun for, like, say 2 hours surfing or something along those lines where I'm in the water, but I'll even wear a hat surfing. I use umbrellas at the beach, but I do like to get some sun. So if you're going to be out in the sun, I definitely would suggest wearing sunblock. Yeah. Did somebody have a question?
No,
Oh, no.
just-
And I have a couple really great ones too in this that I can email to you guys with links and everything. So
Just a question, what's your take on coconut oil? I know some people
So
put
that is a
coconut oil on
great
it.
question, because I just read an article, a study that was done on a whole bunch of different plant oils. And they said coconut oil was really one that was the best for an occlusive. Occlusive meaning a barrier so that you don't lose epidermal water loss. That's kind of like a term that we use in the industry. And so an occlusive means that it's not necessarily moisturizing, but it's literally protecting your layer of skin so moisture doesn't come out. And they said coconut oil was one of the highest marked ones. Now, with that said, like everything in life, you've got to look at those studies. You've got to see who is the actual subject, how are they using it, what their terrain is, because they could, their terrain is completely different from the next subject. That's just my opinion on studies in general. But I would absolutely not use it on the face. It is comedogenic. I mean, as you can tell, it hardens and liquefies when we have it in either hot or cold temperatures. So not great for the facial skin. I personally do not like it for my body skin. That's just me though, because I've found that it dries my skin out. So maybe that's just something personal with me, like I said, terrain is everything. So, but this study, and it was a PubMed study, it was a pretty wide subject study, and it did really well. So, and artificial dyes, synthetic colors, natural flavorings, you'll see that natural flavorings you'll see in a lot of, natural flavorings you'll see in a lot of things. Even on heavily marketed natural items. Natural flavorings is a flavoring still. Just because it says natural doesn't mean it's natural. So yeah, just really kind of like watch out for those. And then I think I am going to wrap it up with positive thoughts and words. And I know that we all know this, but this is something that I tell my clients a lot, and high vibrational words and affirmations and statements are really powerful. I believe that words are powerful. Words hold energy, they hold meaning, and so just be careful with the ones that you choose to use and the ones that you choose to think about. My boyfriend and I have this thing, like I call it the H word. I don't like hate. That's one of them. And don't get me wrong, like I'll throw off an F-bomb here and there, you know, sometimes it just serves a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, when talking about yourself and looking at yourself in the mirror, you know, it's kind of a new thing. I think they're calling it mirror talk. It's really powerful. I tell a lot of my, you know, clients just to be really graceful with yourself, because if there's something that you want to change in your body, speaking really positive words is like the best step in the right direction. And so I tell that with, you know, a lot of my clients that are experiencing acne and hormonal acne, that, you know, there is obviously something going on in the body that your body is telling you. And so with that being said, everyone has their own path, everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own lesson, and everyone's is different. And so I think it's super important to speak positive words and really support people. Like Barbara and I just recently met, and we were talking just about like how important community is. And I'm so super appreciative of all of you ladies coming here, because I think it's important that, you know, we stand together as women and as human beings in general and support people and support one another in our small businesses. So I think with that, you can find a lot of resources. Like Robin and Taylor have been a tremendous resource for me. And I know they are for everyone that comes in here too. I mean, she's like the connector. I mean, you need it, she'll tell you where to go and find it. And so I think that's really important. If we can come together on that level, I think, you know, we have a lot going for ourselves. So now for like some of the fun stuff and the facial reflexology. So facial reflexology really quickly is.
So Jennifer, you're gonna be explaining what you actually do with them, like they come in for facial
Yeah.
and how you work
Yeah,
with clients.
yeah, and
Okay,
I'm
good.
just gonna kind of go over that quickly. As you can see, it was started by a gentleman in Vietnam right around the war, and he was an acupuncturist, and what he was finding was that people were coming in with all sorts of problems from the war, people with depression, and he wanted to find a way to help these people at home. And obviously you have to have a little bit more of a skill set with acupuncture. So that's not something that you could do at home. So he started developing these tools so people could take them home and help themselves, which I absolutely love that. You know, coming to see me is a treatment, it's an experience. And I obviously go in a little bit more depth with the reflexology, but I love that this is something that my clients can take home to help themselves as well. So
Can you go over there and show them, hold it up? Yeah.
yeah, so what we're doing, just to kind of like make it brief, is we're really accomplishing two things with these tools. So you have a yawn side, which you'll see, like this is for stimulation. So you have to look at the person's like disposition is really what you kind of want to take a look at. When I'm first looking at my client, I'm taking into consideration what I perceive their disposition as being, whether it's a yang or a yin side. And yang has, you know, more of that, you think of more of that kind of like energy. Yin is going to be more of that soft type of energy, cooling energy. So I'm looking at the skin to see if you have redness, which to me that would be a yawn indication. So I may roll first with the yin side just to dispel any heat and redness. But what we really want to do is we're using these tools to create microcirculation in the body. And so we're directly working with the nervous system, and we're working so close to the brain that those messages are going throughout your body fairly quickly. I kind of refer to it as like an adaptogen, like it just reads whatever it is that your body needs and gives it that. And we're infusing the blood with fresh oxygen. So that's bringing up all the collagen, all of those dormant nutrients to the top layer of the skin and giving us that glow. And so then I will go in with this and I will fill and disperse all those nutrients all over the face after I've already done some sort of microcirculation with this. Then from a physiological aspect, I'm looking for indications on the face, say like a blemish, a mark or a bump. And if I see that, then I'm going to work that area, because to me, that area might have a direct correlation with a certain organ in your body, which is what all of these maps are. So, this area is kind of the small intestine, around it, the large intestine, the ureter lines here. This is the bladder. This is the spinal column, and down to the left side is the heart, the pericardium sac. So I'm kind of really taking all of those things into consideration. And I've had so much training in this, and still to this day, I'm always learning constantly, every single day with every client. And it's really interesting because it can really help alleviate and unblock stagnation in the body, just like acupuncture. So we're achieving two things. We're bringing up beautiful skin as well as unblocking any stagnation in the body. So it can be really helpful with headaches. This is one of my favorite tools. So at night in front of the television, it's called the little hammer, and you want to hold it like this. You don't want to hold it on that. But if I have a headache, I might hit in certain areas, and you want to do 50 taps with this, and that's it. And then you move to the new area. And you don't even necessarily need to know these maps. It's like we were talking about earlier, it's intuition and listening to your body. And for me personally, I find you're not looking for pain, but you're looking for tenderness. So I've generally start here, because I've had a lot of challenges with my shoulders, old yoga accidents. And so I will start tapping here, and you'll notice like, oh my gosh, what is that? And then you'll move to the next spot and you didn't feel anything on that spot. And so it's just something that's intuitive, and you'll start to notice that. So if I'm doing it in this area, I will notice a release in my shoulders. And it's really helpful with TMJ, headaches, you name it, constipation. I have certain protocols for rejuvenating facial lifts that deal a lot with, the bones and the muscles and the nerves. And then my other favorite tool is the rake. This is really good for 11 lines. So this area right here, where I have them right here, I'll start to do circles. And you want to do it in whatever zone you're working on for like maybe 3 to 5 minutes, or until you pull red. You want to actually see some activation. Once you see that activation, then you can stop and you go to the next area. So I'll do circles here, and then I have some lines right here, and I like to hold the skin a little bit taut, because at that point what you're doing is you're even directly getting into the lower levels even quicker. And I'll do circles here, here, and then sometimes here at the crow's feet. And then wherever I feel like I need some help, then I'm going to go in with the other side. And these are all natural products, so they hold a really nice vibrational frequency too. It is foreign, and it's foreign that's not from animals that have been killed. They're just forms that fall off from farms that they use these animals to actually farm their lands. And then I'll go in with this. And this is amazing for the under eyes. It really helps break up that stagnation. You can use this brush for the under eyes as well, but obviously just be really careful, and you kind of want to hold the area there. And this is going to help eliminate the stagnation and that pool of blood essentially that's there, and help unblock anything and create flow. And then you'll go in with this area. And remember, you want to do 3 to 4 minutes, and then with this, you'll probably end up doing a little less. And sometimes, if I get heated, or I'm kind of think I'm approaching that, pre-menopause, or so I've been using more of my metal tools a lot to pull out heat, and they've really, really been helping. So there's just so many things that you can do with these, and those are like 2 of my favorite tools. Really helpful for wrinkles as well is essentially all of them. This is what I use in my treatment room as well. And really, you're just doing cross hatches. You're just going like this all over the entire face, but you want to stay in a zone. So if you're trying to work on something like nasal labial folds right here, I'm going to spend 3 minutes right here on this yawn side, on the stimulation side. And I'm gonna go all sorts of different ways, holding it tight. And then over the top lips here, I'm helping digestion. And here, digestion, and you're gonna do that 3 minutes. Then you're gonna go in with this side and you're gonna roll out with the stainless steel side, cooling and dispersing. And so those are some of my favorite tools. Like I said, really good for the nervous system. And okay, so I have books here, which are some of my favorite books. The Reflexology book you can order online. The Iodine Crisis, this is huge. It's an excellent book. Really talks about how we've been marketed to and how salt is supposedly bad for us, when really it's actually something that we need to, I mean, like many things live, but water and salt is very important. And then let's see. Oh, so a couple of my favorite things here, the Hydrating Accelerator is awesome. Really, anytime you want to use a facial balm or a facial oil, super important to have some type of moisture on the skin. It just really helps to lock in the balm or the oil that you're using. It acts as like a little molecule for all of those oils and balms and moisturizers to ride into the pore on. So, and then I spray it after too. There's facial oil. The Vital Balm Cream is awesome. This is unscented, no essential oils. It's an inclusive. It really holds in moisture. It has marshmallow roots, comfrey, calendula. And then there's some little testers here if you want to try them out. Tools are for sale too. The hammers are 38 and these little brushes are 52. It comes with a card too that tells you a little bit how to do it yourself at home. Vital Balm is 50. Vital, the Hydrating Accelerator is 75, and the Active Infusion Oil is a plant-based retinol. This can be worn during the day. I like to use my retinols at night, but that's just me. And then I use that at night with the Hydrating Accelerator and then a little bit of the balm on top. These products, as Robin can attest to,
Insane.
will last you
Gorgeous. So long,
forever.
and they're
You don't
fabulous.
need a lot, like 1 to 3 drops of the facial oil, and you spread it because of the fact your skin is damp because you're using the Hydrating Accelerator first. So it gives you also the spreadability. And then I finish with a little bit of the Vital Balm if I'm feeling really dry, and you only need like a half a pea-sized amount of that.
Jennifer, did you bring the scrub too?
The scrub,
The
No.
one that you, oh, okay,
no,
but
no.
that one's a great one
But
too.
so we have the teas over there. Feel free to make your own tea with those herbs in the little vials. I wanted to, okay, so questions. Anybody have any questions?
I have questions for
Yes.
just like laymen who don't know much, but like, when I wash my face at night without all your fancy stuff, and I'm going to start, like, what is the best way to be moving on my face?
Good question. So best way, in my opinion, is to move kind of like with lymphatic draining. So that's going to be towards the heart, but you always want to go up on the face, and then here you want to go on the forehead down, and you want to move towards the ears because that's where 2 of your major lymph node dump sites are, and then also under your arms in the back of your knees. So in this area here, you can do even like a little bit of lymph work and massage, and then you always want to bring it down the neck because you're moving all of the toxicity from the lymphs to the actual dump sites, which are here, and then will be carried out through your system.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as you just want to be, with the sensitive skin around the eyes, you just want to be careful in those areas. With eye cream, I'm not a huge proponent of eye cream. I mean, I believe whatever cream you're using can be used as an eye cream. I don't think you need like 5 different products. I think like 3 to 4 products are great. One of those being your cleanser, one being some type of mist, because no matter what products you use, I think it's super important to have some type of mist that you put on before you put on your moisturizer, because that acts as a humectant, whether it's got glycerin in it or hyaluronic acid and hyaluronic acid is really popular right now. It's great, but not great for everyone. So if you're noticing any redness in your skin, to see how many products have hyaluronic acid and maybe switch that up.
And Jennifer, we just shortcut it and use the
Yeah.
soap.
Yeah,
We just
And-
use the beauty water.
yeah,
it
and
works
that's another
fabulous.
thing, and I use that
Yeah.
in my practice too. I use both actually. I use this
Mm,
at the end, and then I'm using this throughout the process to moisturize.
perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so I have some goodie bags for everybody, all right here. Let's see, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay,
Which is
Elizabeth,
perfect.
you don't get one.
And Jennifer,
I'll give her tons of goodies later. So feel free to grab it here, but I kind of just wanted to go over it really quickly. So in this bag are 2 little silkworm cocoons. No silkworms have been killed in this process. It's from a farm in Virginia. The lady's super sweet. They're really good for mild exfoliation. You put them on your fingers, and I make little cuts on
what do
them.
you
So
do? What do you do? Oh, you
yeah,
slip them on your
they're little
finger.
cocoons.
Oh,
You slip them on
whoa.
your finger.
How fun.
And it's really good for mild exfoliation, and I just leave it in like a tiny dish by my sink and let them dry, and they dry in seconds.
How long can you use them before they?
Great question. I would probably say probably use it like a week or 2, depending on how many times you're exfoliating. I wouldn't exfoliate more than like once, twice a week. And then this is a little great face towel that I love for exfoliation as well. Once again, you can wash it after you're done and it dries instantly. And then my favorite Korean bath mitt, I used to go to Korean spas all the time up in LA, and this takes off so much skin. And you can hang dry it in your shower and it does not get that musty smell. And then an all natural, organic, no essential oil lip balm. This stuff is amazing. You guys will go through it super quickly. It actually is kind of a little glossy too, so I love it. So that's for everyone. And then I have some prize giveaways. So, okay, couple questions. What is one of the chemicals that I talked about that should not be in daily care products? Okay, all right. So you said parabens. I have, so this is a brow serum with CBD, helps brow growth, or I have the lash serum. Yeah,
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I've like done research on it.
have you?
You're a fan of it?
Yeah, but you have to use it with consistency.
Okay.
Yeah, which one would you like?
Wow.
The lash?
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I said it first.
I don't know.
Yes. Did you say parabens first?
Yes.
Okay, well, here, you have a brow serum. Okay, so I have a couple of my favorite floss. This is Risewell. They don't use Teflon, so like Glide. I have really, really close teeth, so I can't use any type of it just breaks apart. So I always used to use Glide, and then I found out there was Teflon all over it. And so this is amazing. It kind of is, they call it scrubby, and it kind of doesn't foam up, but it expands, and it really gets between the teeth, and it's awesome. So my next
Of course
question.
you would know about floss. Why not? I know.
Yeah,
Pick
the
a topic.
next question is, oh, I know. Well, I feel like Elizabeth, you have to have one because you said fragrance.
No, because I see you all the time. I'm like,
No,
"Fragrance."
okay, so then my next question will be, what was one of the nutrients for supplements for the skin, specifically for acne? Zinc. Zinc. You got it, girl.
I just want to be clear. I want to know if I know the answer.
Yes, turmeric. Turmeric. Oh, astaxanthin was the one
That's
that's
a hard one to
amazing.
remember.
Y'all for skin, like everybody, and glutathione. Those are like my top 3 for taking for myself for skin is astaxanthin, glutathione, and vitamin C. for sure. Okay, my next question is, what was one of the things that I talked about that I like to do in the morning?
Sundays. Sundays.
I already got one.
Okay. Who wants one of these? Who wants you?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Floss.
What is that?
Teflon?
Algae.
Yeah. she said
So
that
it's
one.
seaweed, it comes from seaweed, but it can come from different different types of seaweeds.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's it's like a carotenoid, so it's got tons of antioxidants. And then just like some of my favorites, Sun Integrity. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of this sunblock. They make a 5-in-1 that's awesome. Griffin Remedy, I use the unscented body lotion. They're really inexpensive. They're out of San Francisco and great, just really simple products. And then I also love Zeolite. Just we're kind of bombarded, with so many chemicals. This is really interesting. Do your research on it. It comes from the formation of lava and turns into almost like a silt. So they'll find it on the bottom beds of rivers and things like that. And it's a lot like charcoal. It takes all of the chemicals in your body that your body is not used to having and pulls them out through your system. And it
So is
doesn't.
that oral?
This is oral, and then there's also one that's good for the gut that's a drop because of the molecular size. So this goes throughout the body in the bloodstream. The one that you take on the tongue with the gut is a larger molecule, so it specifically helps taking out any type of like heavy metals that are in the gut.
What is that called?
Zeolite. Yeah. Yeah, of course. And another one of my favorites, kind of like if I'm traveling, is silver nose spray. Where all of our thing, when we get sick, it's mainly because it goes in our nose or in through our mouth. So this is one of my favorite things. I'll even take like a little Q-tip sometimes if I feel like I've been around, an area that there was a lot of sick people, and I'll do like a little bit in my ears too, and I'll even do like a Q-tip in my nose sometimes. And then one of my other favorite things is this Nutribiotic skin ointment. It's grapefruit seed extract. This is good for everything. It's like a natural antibiotic, really good if you get cuts, scrapes, bug bites, cracks, things like that. I have like a little thing in my nose that if it gets really dry out, it cracks sometimes, and this literally heals it. I have to use this for 2 days and then it's gone. It's awesome. And then also real sea salt, Redmond. This is from Utah, great sea salt. Also, sea salts are great. They have tons of minerals. The sodium is there. Some people have different opinions about what salt. They say sea salt is dead, and the Himalayan salt is actually a live formation crystal. So supposedly that might have like a little bit better minerals in it. But either way, you just don't want your traditional iodized table salt.
Right.
You want something that has all the minerals in it. And then another thing that has been like my favorite, this is called Goodbye fungi, and it's something that I used for my toes at the start of the pandemic. It's like I'm done with nail polish, like altogether, like not even clear, because after using regular nail polish for so long, my toes were just yellow because of the coloring in all of the toxic nail polishes. So now my toes are like a beautiful pink color. They're natural. Like I don't even put clear polish on them. I just buff them out. And this really helped that process a lot. I don't know if I had a fungus, but I had read about it. And so I was trying to kind of like, fix my toes because they had those little white marks in them that I think it was just from all of the nail polish over the years. So that was super helpful. So those are like just some of like my ride or die, so to speak, for lack of a better analogy.
Can you explain, like, if we come and have a treatment?
Yes.
Do you like what you do, or do you?
Yeah. So I will actually send this to all of you, whoever filled this out here. So my treatments are 90 minutes. For first-time clients, they're 2 hours. And I do the facial reflexology. I do the deep structural toning massage on the face, which is literally massage on the face for 35 minutes. So, and then I use all natural or organic products. I do lymphatic drainage. So you're getting massage on the shoulders, the décolleté, the back of the neck, the scalp, and then I actually go to the legs and the feet. I do a little bit of reflexology on the feet, and I do a little bit of pumping on the back of the knees just to help the lymphatic drainage, since we're going to be doing a lot of that on the face, because, you know, lymph doesn't have a pump like heart does, so we need to stimulate it manually somehow, whether that's exercise, whether that's jumping up and down, and then I will sometimes do some energy work if that's something that you like. I've been certified and trained in Reiki energy to level 2. I don't use the symbols anymore because something else resonated with me. So I kind of call it, I don't know, some sort of consciousness energy. And then I also do sound healing. I use my tincture bells. And then these are pretty magical. We didn't get to those today, but they're crazy. This is 24 karat gold on the outside, and it's also brass. They use brass and copper. They're, I think, straight science. They work with energy meridians. This is a neutralizing ring, so we'll start off with the passes on that when you come in. And I mean, you guys can hold them. Be careful with them though, because they can break. You can hold them between their hands, and what they're really doing is they're working with the energy meridians and sacred geometry, and we're just bringing our bodies back to a set point of 0. So it can be, some people really feel like I'll set it down in front of people sometimes just like this, and you can actually notice like your body kind of swaying. And it's not that, you know, there's negative energy or positive energy. I mean, yes, electrically charged, but I believe that it's just different types of energy. We come into contact with people and environments, and so sometimes we just kind of need to be recalibrated, so to speak. And then the sun ring infuses, and I've been infusing this actually with a little bit of black obsidian, which is kind of has like a warrior type of energy, which I think we all need in this day and age. So this I use as a second pass, and this actually starts to infuse everything with just kind of like positivity. And I'll ask the client to say simple statements like I am, statements like I am loved, or I am healed, or, you know, I am healthy. And I'll just do a couple passes on that. And it's amazing to see. And sometimes like I can also, with that, I've had a lot of clients, I don't know if it happened with you, Taylor, but they'll have challenges with their knees or their elbows. And I can sense that because holding it, it will tip a little bit. And so as I do like a couple passes by it, they have, you know, it's not me, it's the, you know, universe, the crazy, crazy world. But they're pretty magical, I think. And yeah, so I really enjoy using that.
Where's your studio?
Yeah, in Encinitas, at 3rd Street and A. Yeah, and I work, yeah. So it's close. I mean, to whoever is in this neighborhood.
And it's so cute. Jennifer doesn't know this, but her boyfriend shared this with me the other night at an event. And he goes, you know, I sit in the living room, and she had like 3 different women. They didn't know I was there, and they were effusive, just glowing and so grateful. And he goes, it's so beautiful for me to hear from other people, because I already know she's magical. I mean, really sweet thing. That Steven is a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He's such a sweetheart.
I mean, I really care about, you know, my.
I figured it's your boyfriend.
She does, and her clients, like I said, because I've known her since 1992.
Yeah.
Her heart is so, I can't even believe you have room to allow more people in with what you do, because you have to give them a lot of your energy, and I know
Yeah,
you
she
do,
does.
but you're just an amazing I'm just grateful you're my friend, but everyone should go to her.
Yeah, so it's a, I might be training her so she can do it on me. Like, I need someone to do this. Yeah, there was a beautiful woman that actually, she's amazing. She kind of does a lot of what I do, and she's in LA. She's in Topanga Canyon. And she came down here and actually did it on me in my treatment room. So that was amazing. But she's from here, but she wasn't at the beginning of the pandemic. You know, we're all kind of pivoting. And so yeah, so it's a special treatment. And I do everything that I can to help you to help yourself. And I think at the end of the day, that's really one of the things that I really try to get across, is that I'm just kind of here as, a vessel, and I'm here with all the knowledge that I have. And that's what we do. We're all in service to one another in some capacity. And so I'm just lucky enough to be able to finally find, I'm 48 years old, and I was working in an industry that I wasn't happy with. And so I'm just glad that I finally found this, and I was able to share it with other people. So please, once again, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available for you with any questions. If I don't know the answer to your question, I will research the heck out of it. And I have a handful of mentors that I talk to, and other naturopaths and acupuncturists and chiropractors. So I will, figure it out.
Yeah, you can see why we have Jennifer, because she is what we want here. This is exactly the people we want, and we work really hard to bring them in, and boy, they are coming in flood. We're so grateful.
Yeah, so thank you, Taylor. Thank you,
Yeah,
Robin, so much
absolutely.
for
Our
everything.
joy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
really appreciate it. And if you all liked this, I think we might be doing some
I think
once
we're gonna do
again. And
another
thank you
one.
for your
Yeah.
time. Sorry if I went a little
Thank
over.
you.
Did everybody get their presents and their little,
Okay, Jennifer, on your tea, are they trading the tea real quick while they're getting their containers filled?
yeah, so all you have to do is take equal parts of all 4 of them and
Okay.
put them in there. And you can even put